The Philippine National Police is currently validating the information of an alleged ouster plot against President Rodrigo Duterte. But the Department of National Defense dismisses the report as a mere rumor. Leah Ilagan tells us why.
The Philippine National Police is working to verify the report on the alleged destabilization plot against President Rodrigo Duterte, purportedly being brewed by the opposition. The president himself mentioned the report during his arrival speech on Saturday from his official visit in Israel. The three groups, the Liberal Party, the Communist Party of the Philippines, and the group of his staunchest critic, Senator Antonio Trillanes IV, are allegedly joining hands to remove him from office come October.
We are looking into all this information. No? These are all serious allegations, remember. Hindi namin pwedeng palampasin itong mga information na to. Right now, we are in the process of confirming and validating this information that we get.
Senator Trillanes and LP Chairperson Vice President Leni Robredo have earlier belied they are conniving with the Reds to unseat Duterte. But Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana downplays the ouster plot as a mere rumor. Lorenzana explains no one in the military will go against the president. He instead pointed at the CPP-NPA as behind the destabilization plot, which was long planned since 2016.
May gumagawa ng istorya ng ganyan na marami ng disgranted na active military, pero wala naman kaming nakikita.
Kamusta na po sir ang moral ng soldiers?
Mataas. Matataas na sweldo nila ng doble, mataas ang moral niyan, di ba? CPP-NPA, which they hatched in 2016 at it was finalized in 2017. Meron sila kasing Oust Duterte movement na pinapaano nila yan sa mga kagalamay nila.
Albayalde meanwhile assures that the PNP remains loyal to the Constitution and the change of command, and that there is no reason from them to defy the orders of the President.
So we give our full support to the administration. It's because it follows the Constitution. And if the present administration follows the rule of law also. So bakit naman tayo kontra? Diba? There's no reason naman para tayo kumontra.
AFP Chief of Staff General Carlito Galvez Jr. also assures there is no faction within the institution and to sanction soldiers who will deviate from their mandate to remain apolitical. Leah Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Department of Trade and Industry expects a decrease in the price of rice beginning October. Monokson tells us why.
Jose Rodriguez cannot immediately decide on what rice variant to buy. He is torn on whether to purchase high-quality commercial rice, which costs 50 pesos per kilogram, or save more money by buying the cheaper variant.
Pinag-iisipan ko nga kung ito na lang medyo commercial rice. Masarap kasing isaing, tsaka kahit di gaano masarap ang ulam, basta maganda yung kanin.
In the end, Jose chose to buy a kilo of NFA rice to save up amid increasing market prices. Some rice retailers say they could not lower their prices because they also need to gain profit from the stocks they acquired at a high price.
Sabi nila maraming supply ng bigas. Bakit hindi bumababa? Di ba demand and supply lang yan? Bakit wala? Mataas pa rin. Taas din siyempre ang benta namin dahil alangan naman magpalugi ka.
To address the current issue on rice stocks and prices, the government will continue to import rice until the next harvest season. The Department of Trade and Industry says the additional imported rice stocks will arrive in October and will directly be delivered to retailers. The agency believes this will normalize the price of commercial rice by 39 to 42 pesos a kilogram.
Nakaabang lang ito para nga sa ganitong kakulangan ng supply. Hindi ito sinasabing kulang sa pangangailangan ng daily. Meron tayong supply. Pag sinasabi lang natin, pag mababa yung supply, nag-aagawan sa stock, nagtataas ang presyo.
Importation is also necessary to balance the rice supply ahead of a strong storm that threatens the country. DTI has also directed rice millers to properly stock grains in warehouses to prevent it from getting damaged by heavy rains. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Bukawe, Bulacan.
A consumer group calls on the government to suspend the implementation of value-added tax amid rising prices of goods in local markets. Joanano tells us why.
Oil firms are poised to implement a 65 centavo per liter increase on fuel prices beginning tomorrow at 6 a.m. Since January up to this month, the price of gasoline went up to almost 7 pesos, while almost 6 pesos in both diesel and kerosene. With the imposition of additional taxes, prices of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene have spiked to an average of 9 pesos. The surge in fuel prices has prompted jeepney operators and drivers to file a petition seeking to hike the minimum fare by 2 pesos before the Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board.
Kunti na lang po kinikita. Imbis na dating 800 din diesel, ngayon 1.5 na. Dahil sa taas ng gasolina, ng diesel.
Similar petitions were also lodged by bus and UV Express operators, but according to LTFRB Chairman Martin Dalgra, the board is still reviewing the basis of the petition. The Philippine Statistics Authority has earlier reported that the country's inflation spiked to 6.4% in August, which is said to be the fastest pace in 9 years. In line with this, the United Filipino Consumers and Commuters calls on the government to suspend the implementation of the 12% value-added tax. UFCC President RJ Javellana explains many Filipinos are bearing the brunt of paying higher taxes imposed by the government.
Isa rin po sa mga nagpapalala ng usapin ng inflasyon yan. Nagpapadagdag sa mga mahal na bilihin. Kahit wala kang trabaho, magbabayad ka ng 12% value-added tax. Baka pwede po na isantabi na muna natin itong 12% value-added tax.
Malacanang meanwhile assures that the government is taking all appropriate measures to curb the rising inflation.
Basta ang sinabi ni Presidente, gawin ang lahat na dapat gawin. He does not micromanage. And so far, what have we done? We have authorized importation of oil galing sa Russia na mas mababa. We have allowed entry of imported agricultural products. We have removed special safeguard measures. We have increased regional daily wages all over the country.
Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Marikina Representative Miro Kimbo says more Filipinos are getting poorer amid rapidly rising consumer prices. He also calls on his colleagues to pass a measure seeking to impose a moratorium on fuel excise taxes. Grace Casin tells us why.
Citing a study conducted by the Asian Development Bank in 2008, Marikina 2nd District Representative Miro Kimbo lamented how millions are now poorer due to the unabated rise in prices in 2018. Based on the ADB study, every 10% increase in food prices results in 2.3 million poor Filipinos. The lawmaker notes that the increase in prices of rice, ground cod, fish, and vegetables by more than 20% in the last 7 months. It is fair to say that more than 4 million Filipinos have become poor because of the uncontrolled inflation.
So kung sasabihin mo na ang nagiging epekto lamang po ay between 4 to 6%, it's minimal. It is not minimal because today, food prices have increased by more than 20%. So therefore, you have close to 5 million new poor Filipinos because of inflation.
He likewise reiterated his call to urgently pass House Bill number 8171, his proposed measure to provide for a moratorium on excise taxes on fuel under train and return to zero the excise taxes on kerosene and diesel. The bill also provides for the automatic suspension of the implementation of fuel excise tax increase whether inflation for a given quarter exceeds the government's quarterly target. ADB study also found out that 10% increase in fuel leads to an additional 160,000 new poor Filipinos. House Bill number 8171 is a counterpart to Senate Bill number 1798, also known as Bawas Presyo Bill, which was filed by Senator Paulo Benigno Bam Aquino IV.
So kailangan natin mahinto ito, otherwise magiging dagdag talaga na pahirap ito.
But the House Majority Bloc says passing this bill is not a priority as there are safeguards placed in the first package of the train law.
Hindi na kailangan. Tingin ko yung mga economic managers lang ang titingin diyan at titingnan nila kung ano talaga yung epekto nito. At executive prerogative na yan.
Grace Casit, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
President Rodrigo Duterte blames U.S. President Donald Trump and his tariffs for the soaring inflation rate in the Philippines. The chief executive also insists his political opponents are only using the issue against his administration. Here's why from Rosalie Cos.
President Rodrigo Duterte attributes the surging consumer prices in the country to higher tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump when he sparked a trade war. Inflation surged to 6.4% in August 2018 from July's 5.7% amid gains in prices of rice, fish, meat, vegetables, and crude oil. This is the highest inflation rate reported by the Philippine Statistics Authority in 9 years. Duterte says the inflation in the Philippines is directly affected by the tariffs imposed by Trump administration on imports from its trading partners such as the European Union, Canada, Mexico, and especially products from China. These tariffs angered the trading partners and implemented retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods.
Sila yan eh. Inflation, yes. Bakit? Sino nag-umpisa? Amerika. Nung tinaas ng rates ng Amerika, taasan lahat. Ganun yan. Wala tayong magawa dyan. It's the economy, because America was, Trump wanted it. Pati yung mga taxes na size tax, taas sa lahat. Pati import dues. Kaya ganyan ang nangyari.
However, President Duterte says all presidents of the Philippines have encountered high inflation rate.
So I will admit that there is inflation. Sino bang presidente na hindi nakatikim ng inflation?
The chief executive claims his political opponents are using inflation and higher prices to turn the public against him and support efforts to destabilize his administration.
They are feeding on that rice, tapos itong inflation. Yun yung ginagamit nila in preparation for this October. Maybe this October, I have to talk to the military and the police. If it is good for the country, sila na, sige, labas natin. Or anyway, they're defending the Republic. Can I defend the Republic on my own? It is their constitutionally mandated leaders.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
President Rodrigo Duterte is likely to deliver a nationwide address on Tuesday, September 11. However, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque refuses to give details on the content of the president's speech. The president's expected nationwide address is amid issues besetting the government such as high food prices.
So, iniingadyo po natin ang taong bayan na maging laging handa. Ayusin na po natin yung ating emergency kit sa ating mga pamamahay. Maghanda na po tayo ng tubig at dilata. At yung mga naninirahan po sa marapit sa mga karagatan, tignan na po natin kung saan tayo temporarily na lilipat pagdating po ng bagyo.
UNTV News and Rescue will air live President Duterte's nationwide address tomorrow afternoon. Meanwhile, another Makati court says it will not issue a warrant of arrest and hold departure order against Senator Antonio Trillanes without a hearing following the nullification of his amnesty over 2 failed uprisings. JL Asayo explains why.
No warrant of arrest and travel ban have been issued against Senator Antonio Trillanes IV by the Makati RTC Regional Trial Court. According to Diosfa Toledanes Valencia, Clerk of Court of Makati RTC Branch 150, a hearing on the motion of the Department of Justice for the issuance of a whole departure order and warrant has been set on Friday, September 14. In a 3-page order, Makati RTC Branch 150, Judge Elmo Alameda said Trillanes camp will be given the time to answer the motion filed by the DOJ because the senator's rebellion case has long been dismissed. Judge Alameda also explained there are constitutionality issues on the petition filed before the Supreme Court questioning the nullification of Proclamation Number 75, which granted amnesty to Trillanes, and that this might be rendered moot and academic if the court decides now on the merits of the case.
Well, the motion has been denominated as ex parte. The court, after thoroughly considering the grounds and arguments raised therein, is of the view that acting on the motion without setting it for hearing will definitely prejudice the right of the accused to due process.
Makati RTC Branch 148 last week, a separate motion for the issuance of an arrest warrant against Senator Trillanes will also have to wait for the lawmakers' comment and a hearing on September 13. JL Asayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
Senator Antonio Trillanes IV will remain under Senate custody despite the Armed Forces of the Philippines' decision to wait for the court to issue a warrant of arrest. Nel Maribohok explains why.
Senator Antonio Trillanes has been staying in his office in the Senate building for nearly a week now after news of his amnesty nullification broke out. Trillanes is currently under Senate custody to prevent his arrest as ordered under Presidential Proclamation No. 572. The senator says he will remain in the Senate premises despite President Rodrigo Duterte's order to the military to leave the matter of Trillanes' arrest to the court.
I know for a fact, based on our engagements with the armed forces, that they still have a standing order to arrest me.
The lawmaker also hopes that the Supreme Court will approve his petition questioning the legality of the President's proclamation revoking his amnesty. But if the High Court affirms the administration's position, Trillanes warns of its adverse effects to the country's legal system.
Believe me, maraming magpa-file ng annulment ng marriages because of this argument na yung application form nawawala.
The senator also belies allegations of his involvement in ouster plots against President Duterte.
All right, sir. Wala akong nire-recruit, walang ouster plot.
Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Malacanang is not discounting the possibility that the amnesties granted by the Aquino administration to other soldiers were with Senator Trillanes during the 2003 Oakwood Mutiny and 2007 Manila Pen uprising may also be voided. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
Malacanang believes that granting pardon and certifying amnesty is a president's sole power and cannot be delegated to his officials. This is amid issues on Senator Antonio Trillanes' amnesty, which the palace says has been void from the beginning. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque argues Trillanes' amnesty is not valid because the certification was signed by former Defense Secretary Voltaire Gasmin and not by former President Benigno Aquino III. This is why there is a possibility that the amnesties granted by the Aquino administration to other soldiers who were with Senator Antonio Trillanes during the 2003 Oakwood and 2007 Peninsula Manila Hotel mutiny may also be affected. President Rodrigo Duterte has mentioned that Gasmin committed usurpation of authority when he recommended and approved as well the amnesty of Trillanes instead of former President Aquino.
Ito rin ang pumirma. Yan po ang paninindigan ng presidente na yung amnesty mismo dapat presidente yung pumirma at hindi ang kanyang kalihim.
The Duterte administration meanwhile defended itself from allegations of selective justice on the revocation of Trillanes' amnesty, who is the staunchest critic of the president. Roque says Trillanes is the leader of the mutineers.
Senator Trillanes' declaration is so far the only one that the president has proclaimed to be null and void ab initio, and on good basis. There's a basis for distinction because Trillanes was the acknowledged leader of the Magdalo mutineers.
In an interview, Roque said that Gasmin can be charged of usurpation of authority because he has no authority to grant the amnesty as stated in the Philippine Constitution. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The national flag of the People's Republic of China was hoisted in front of the main building of the House of Representatives in relation with the visit of a ranking Chinese government official. A banner welcoming Xi Bingshuan, the vice chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China, was also posted in front of the main entrance. According to the House of Representatives Inter-Parliamentary Relations Service, it is normal for the Philippine government to accord honor to high-ranking foreign dignitaries visiting the country like Xi. She also adds that Philippine government officials are also given the same treatment when they visit other countries. She briefly met with House Speaker Gloria Arroyo to discuss the further strengthening of relations of the Philippines and China, specifically in the fields of agriculture, trade, education, culture, and arts. Ako, Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe meanwhile says that flags of other countries should also be shown at the House when other foreign dignitaries visit.
I do hope that will apply to all visitors from foreign countries. Hindi lang po pwede na sa China, otherwise pag ganun ng ganon, makikita po na binabalingan po natin ang China.
President Rodrigo Duterte's trust rating slips by 8 points, according to the latest survey of the social weather station. Despite the decline in ratings, Malacanang assures that President remains focused on his work. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
Malacanang expresses appreciation over the continued trust of Filipinos in President Rodrigo Duterte. This is after the latest survey of the social weather stations showed the trust rating of the president at 57% for the third quarter of 2018. The rating has suffered an 8-point decline from the 65% net trust rating of the chief executive in the first quarter of the year. However, this is still under the very good category. Based on the survey released last September 7, 70% of Filipinos have much trust in the president, 13% have little trust, while 6% are undecided. The survey was conducted from June 27 to 30 this year through interviews with 1,200 respondents in the whole country. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said in a statement that despite the ratings, the president remains focused on his work. He added that there is much work to be done, especially in helping poor Filipino families. That is why the Duterte administration has been working double time on their efforts to help families affected by the rising prices of commodities while keeping the economy stable. The president has mentioned before that he does not care for survey results or popularity. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The penalty that Chinese Xiamen Airlines will have to pay to the Philippines for the August 16 accident at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport has now reached over 70 million pesos. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Manila International Airport Authority General Manager Ed Monreal said during a Senate inquiry earlier that the Xiamen Airlines has been ordered to pay almost 72 million pesos for the mishap at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport runway last month. MIAA has initially charged Xiamen around 33 million pesos for the recovery operation of their air jet that veered off the runway last August 16. But the penalty went higher following the latest computation of MIAA. General Manager Monreal said Xiamen officials are expected to arrive in the country this week to settle the penalty.
By September 13 to 14, may plano silang pumunta rito para i-settle muna po yung initial. And then meron pa pag-uusap pagdating po ng chairman within this week ay pag-uusapan namin pinal yung karagdagang bills so na dapat nila bayaran.
A pilot of Xiamen Air Jet will also arrive to disclose some information relating to the incident. According to Committee Chair Senator Grace Poe, they will possibly call for an executive session after submitting the committee's recommendation.
Iniintay natin na dumating nga yung international counterpart nitong kailangan nilang imbestigahan. Meaning, yung representative ng Boeing, yung piloto nung na nagpalipad ng aeroplano na yon. Tapos, dun sa kanilang findings, kung hindi nila maisisiwalat muna sa publiko ito dahil sa international protocols.
Senator Poe emphasized that there should be proper coordination of airport authorities and airline companies when it comes to crisis management. She said that based on the result of the investigation, there were negligence on the part of the airlines and the airport management on the incident. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines is now investigating the recordings in the black box of Xiamen Airlines from Singapore. CAAP will issue a report once the investigation is done, along with separate penalties for the violation of the operator and Xiamen Air pilots, based on the Philippine Civil Aviation Regulations. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The GSIS Furies handed Season 5 champion PNP responders its first loss of the season after a heart-thundering match on Sunday. The DA Food Masters also clinched its first victory after adjusting tactics against PhilHealth Plus. Bernard Dadis tells us why.
And he dropped it. Drives hard.
The GSIS Furies claimed its first win of the season after stunning the PNP responders 87-83 in the UNTV Cup Season 7 Sunday at the Pasig City Sports Center. It was a close match with PNP dominating the first and third quarters, but the GSIS intensified its efforts during the second and last quarters. James Patrick Abugan was hailed as the best player of the game after leading the GSIS to victory over PNP by scoring 31 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. GSIS playing coach Rene Boy Bansali and Kenneth Ilano also contributed 27 and 15 points respectively to clamp down on PNP until the final buzzer sounded. Bansali attributes their win to impeccable determination to crumble the responders' defense.
Sobrang saya namin ngayon kasi actually medyo late na yung preparation namin. Tapos nakita nyo yung coaches, wala kami. So nag-usap-usap kami na tulong-tulong na lang kami.
The whistle. There's a block. No whistle also. 2-on-2 basketball. Yes!
In another game, Emerson Orete and Christian Demetera were hailed as the best players of the game after leading the DA Food Masters to a 105-95 win against the PhilHealth Plus, who suffered their first loss in the League of Public Servants. Orete bucketed a total of 23 points and Demetera with 21 points to carry the DA to victory after Coach Saldi Realubit changed tactics to usurp PhilHealth's lead in the first and second quarters. This move surprised PhilHealth, enabling the DA to take control of the game until the final quarter.
Kahit anong ginawa namin ng second quarter, nag-zone na kami, nalulusutan nila kami, nagtao-tao kami, ganun pa din. So nung naka-adjust kami ng nag-zone na kami at hinigpitan namin yung defense namin sa shaded lane, yun lang ang nakakabawi kami doon.
Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.